Pittsburgh Steelers defensive lineman Cameron Heyward is ready to move on from the Pittsburgh Steelers if he does not get signed to a contract extension, even if that means signing with a division rival in the Cleveland Browns. So, before I get more into it, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news and updates. Also, like the video. Now, let's get right back into it. So, even though he said multiple times that he wants to finish his career with the Pittsburgh Steelers and playing only with one helmet, veteran defense lineman Cameron Heyward knows the reality of the NFL business, and just recently he talked about how he has come to terms with, hey, he may have to play somewhere else to end his career if not given that contract extension. Because we all know he's in the final year of his contract, and Heyward skipped part of voluntary organized team activities this offseason as he is searching for that contract extension, entering his age 35 season. And just recently, in an interview with Athletics' Mark Bowley, he knows the reality of his situation. And this is what he had to say about playing somewhere else in 2025 and beyond. Here's the quote. "I have talked to my wife and we know the reality and we have had those talks and she said it could be fun to play somewhere else. If that is what it is needed to be done, then so be it. But I'm still enjoying the ride here this year." And then he continued on by saying this. "I don't even know which way to even lean. We will see what happens. But I can assure you this. I will be playing in 2025. I will tell you that. I still have family in Cleveland. My wife is from Cleveland. We will see. I'm not trying to think about all that right now." End quotes. So, looking at Cameron Heyward, he's basically saying, hey, I'm ready to move on. If the Steelers don't want to sign me to a contract extension, then I have to be thinking about it elsewhere. But you have to still realize the fact that he even brings up playing for a division rival and how it might be fun, or playing for the Cleveland Browns because he's from Cleveland or whatever, his wife's from Cleveland and he has family there. Him even bring that up is a kind of disgrace because when you think about it, he's still under contract for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's not like he's a free agent right now. He's still a Pittsburgh Steeler. He says he wants to be a Pittsburgh Steeler, but he's bringing up playing for a division rival, playing for the Cleveland Browns, playing for a different team while you're still under contract with your team. Just because you're in contract negotiations and things aren't going your way, it's not like the Pittsburgh Steelers have treated you poorly throughout your career with contracts or just throughout your career in general. No, they've treated you pretty good, signed you to big contract extensions. So it's talking right now about playing for a different team while you're on the team that's still paying you and on a team that's still kind of, which you've been on for what, like 15 years or whatever, how long he's been in the NFL since they drafted you. He's still on the team right now. So why are you talking about playing for a different team? You're supposed to be the captain of the team. You're supposed to be the leader of the team. It's just like a Le'Veon Bell situation I don't even remember him talking about playing for a different team. The fact of him holding out is because he wanted to be a Pittsburgh Steeler and get paid by the Pittsburgh Steelers. He didn't mention going and playing for some other teams while he was still under contract. In the offseason, when he was officially a free agent, then you heard him talking about the Jets and how the Jets would have to pay him a lot of money because they're such a bad team for them to get him to go there. But you never really heard, while someone's still under contract with their team, them talk about playing for a different team, especially 1 year away. And the thing about it too is, though, if he was under contract and he did get signed to that extension for 3 years, whatever he wanted, I'm sure he wouldn't be mentioning going playing for a different team, going to playing for a division rival in the Browns and how it might be fun. But now because he's in the final year of his contract, things aren't going his way in terms of getting that extension, then he wants to bring up talking about playing for other teams. It just seems how things have switched sides when you're on the opposite end of the table. Cameron Heyward consistently mentions how he wants to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers his entire career, how he wants to be a one helmet type of player, where he feels as though he just wants to stick on one team, and how many guys do that and how he wants to do that. But then you go in the media, try to gain some leverage in your contract talks, basically saying, hey, I'm ready to move on if that's what's needed, and also I'm ready to move on to a division rival. If the Steelers let me go, a division rival would be fun to play with, and the Cleveland Browns would be good as well. So it's just kind of gaining leverage in that situation, and that's just not a good look. And to be honest, it kind of makes sense why the Pittsburgh Steelers have not given Cameron Heyward that contract extension. Because when you look at it, he's 35 years old right now. What's next season, he's be 36. If he wants a 3-year extension in which he said he wanted, he's gonna be 38. And when you look at him in terms of the games that he's played and the games that he's missed over the last few years, last season he missed basically half the season, more than half the season, with a week 1 injury. And not just that week 1 injury. It wasn't just an injury that was, oh, it just happened. No, it was an injury that was kind of lingering on from the past season and from training camp, because he suffered a groin injury during training camp and then re-aggravated it months later in week 1, which allowed him to get required surgery from him. So you kind of see how he's missed games throughout his career as he's gotten older, and his play has went down as well. Yes, you could say a few years ago he got over 10 plus sacks, but when just looking at the film, it just seems as though the power and the quickness just isn't the same. He has to take more snaps off during the games and things like that, as expected. But also comes as expected is not getting that contract extension. And it makes sense of why the Pittsburgh Steelers won't give it, because he'll be 38 by the end of his 3-year deal. He's 36 next season. So why not just wait to see if he does have a fully healthy season? He didn't have that fully healthy season last year. So why would he pay him $20+ million for him or you not to know if he's going to be healthy? Are you paying someone for what they did in the past for you? Or are you going to project what they're going to do in the future throughout that contract extension? Because that's how you have to handle business. You're not just going to give someone $20+ million, make them one of the highest paid defenders in the NFL for something that they did in the past. No, what they're going to do for you in the future. So just last season, he had 2 sacks, and it was his worst showing season since the 2013 year. So to be honest, he's basically in a Najee Harris position. Najee Harris is in a contract year. He needs to show out to get that contract. And so does Cameron Heyward. But Cameron Heyward's situation is a big different because he is older, way older than Najee Harris. Najee Harris is just based off performance for him. For Cameron Heyward, it's based off being healthy and performance. And something that he's just not had last season and which he needs to show. And congratulations to Cameron Heyward, because yes, he won Walter Payton the Man of the Year, but you're not going to pay someone $20+ million a year to be on the football team, to produce football, just for Walter Payton the Man of the Year. Congratulations to him for winning it, doing community work, and also congratulations for the Steelers. Big accomplishment for both parties. Obviously, the Pittsburgh Steelers in terms of putting Cameron Heyward in position, and Cameron Heyward doing the work and doing the stuff behind the scenes. So congrats, but Cameron Heyward, he's looking for a new contract. He's 36 basically at the end of this year, and he's ready to move on. And him mentioning the Cleveland Browns, it sucks that he mentions it, but I guess that's the reality of the situation. Maybe we're going to have another James Harrison type of effect, where he got released or whatever from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Can't remember at this point. Was out of Pittsburgh, then he moved on to the Patriots, moved on to the Bengals, and then he wanted to come back to the Steelers. So maybe it ends up being like that, and maybe he'll end up regretting it, just like probably James Harrison regretted it. So maybe that's the type of situation that we're getting in that we never would have thought with Cameron Heyward. When we think of Cameron Heyward, we think of a Pittsburgh Steeler, and I'm not saying that he's not a great Pittsburgh Steeler, but it's kind of disappointing that he even mentions going to the Cleveland Browns or going to a division rival just because he wants to get leverage in his contract negotiations. If you're the leader of the team, you should not be even talking about joining a different team and making it a distraction for your teammates, because now articles are being written saying, hey, he's ready to go to the Cleveland Browns. And articles and news outlets are covering it, and it's going to be a distraction now. Instead of you bringing a positive towards the Steelers, it's bringing a negative. So, with that being said, let's end this video. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below on this situation, this topic of Cameron Heyward saying, hey, I want to be a Pittsburgh Steeler, but next season, if I don't get re-signed, I'm going to go to a division rival, and that team may be the Cleveland Browns. But he's still saying that while he's under contract. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Is it good luck? Is it not a good luck? And are you disappointed that he said it? Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news and updates and just coverage like this. And also, training camp's right around the corner, covering all the highlights and analysis throughout training camp, preseason, regular season, and back over to the offseason, in which I covered all of it. From every new player we got to the draft, everything. every new introduction for new players on the channel. Go ahead and check it out. I'll continue covering it. So like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, and I'll see you guys all later. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.